Welcome back for another episode of the Dope Stroke Podcast Show. And today and this week, it's all about the Masters. We've got Bubs on the call here. We've got the Trottie boy himself. We're all ready to go. We've got some cool things happening this week, and I want to get into some of the bizarre, some of the interesting things, and just some of the things that we think is going to happen this week at the Masters. But before we do, Trottie, who is a man of risk and chance, who loves to go to the edge and loves to be slipping off subtly before someone comes in to rescue him. He has got a fantastic campaign, a fantastic opportunity for you guys to get amongst. So Troy, kick it off. Tell us all about what's happening in your world this week with Splash Sports.
Did you notice, Bubsy, that he came in with low energy because he was like, I'm on the early shift in California, because he's still in California. Now, I'm sat under the spotlight here looking more bald than frickin' Daryl. What's that all about? But that's where I'm at for anyone watching YouTube. But the bottom line is, what's it like, McD, to be doing the Dope Stroke podcast on the early shift?
To be blunt, it's crap. It's stupid. I don't know why but you choose the time. You choose this time. I've adjusted to the time zone now, so this is horrific for me. But hey, you chose it. This is what you like to do week in, week out. For Bubs, he doesn't care because it's 3:30 in the afternoon for him.
Hang on. Hang on. Normally, I don't care, but this is Easter Monday, so I would love to sit here and say to you boys, because the Dope Stroke is so important and I'm so passionate about it. I said to the family, no, Dope Stroke comes first. You can wait. What actually happened is I had to go down on my knees with my hands together and like plead like a little boy to go, wifey, can I just please have an hour on Monday so I can record the podcast? And she went, go on then.
Well, we all know how much under the thumb you are, so I'm pretty sure, there's been roses, there's a box of chocolates, there's all sorts of things coming your missus' way to allow you this wonderful opportunity to spend some time with your buddies on this call.
Exactly. What gets me, Dazzler, is I go out, I buy this expensive, like organic, only grown on a south-facing hill coffee. I grind it up, get it ready. It's in the pot this morning. I say to him, do you want a cup of coffee? He's like, no, I'll get one later. So we've come to full swing now. They've got a Keurig machine with horrific instant coffee. And I've told the boys here, they know. So now you got to hit Evan's desk in R&D to get the decent stuff. But I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why did you You're just like, nah, I'm too cool for this.
No, well,
you are struggling.
Yeah, I am, yeah. And it was a faux pas. I will accept that was an honest mistake. And but here I am trying to feed off your boys' energy just to try and get me alive for the day. And that's it. I can't tell you anymore. That's it. That's all I got with it. So get on with it.
2 weeks ago, Bubsy, I get that Phil Mickelson for wellness advert. I don't know if you guys get it in the UK. But it's like, you can stick it in your coffee. So I'm thinking, well, Mickelson won the PGA at 50. So I have a friend who's a very good friend of his, and I messaged him and I said, does Phil actually like drink this stuff? And I don't know if you remember Dazzler. We've talked about it now. It's a long way gone. We had a game in last 8 months, and we played against Phil, and it was 4 of us versus Phil, and neither of us played particularly well. And there were 4 holes to go, and he basically was like 3 up or 2 up with 4 to go, and I start chatting away to him. And Daryl, for some reason, just finds like this streak of form with 3 or 4 holes to go. So Daryl says to me after a blast one down 16, quite a tight par 4 dogleg, and I put it in play. And he says to me, Trottie? I says, yeah. He said, we're 2 down, 3 to play. I said, I know. He says, you're talking a lot now. And I says, yeah, this is Daryl's very harsh South African accent when he was younger. he goes, you're talking a lot to him now. I said, yeah. He says, keep him talking and I'll bring us home. And I'm thinking, of all the golfers on this planet, to keep Phil Mickelson talking, I can do that. But to bring us home is not McD. But I'm like, all right, bring us home against Phil Mickelson, one of the best golfers ever to walk on this planet. Bring us home, McD. So with that, I bang this wedge, and it's a scramble, like I say, but like the other 3 are useless. So I hit this wedge onto the 16th green, little bit as a ways away, say it's 20 feet or something. Phil might be like 18. I think you hold it up the hill.
Well, there was I hold the one on the last.
You hold the next
par
one.
3.
You hold
the
the
par
next
3.
One. Yeah, that's 17.
Yeah, 17. Okay.
So I think you hold 16 as well. So anyway, we're 2
probably because I was in a good streak of form. So probably
we're 1 down with 2 to play. So then we play the next. I hit, again, pretty good shot. And Daryl just like, keep talking to him, keep talking. He's not paying attention. I played golf with him once before. Like, he fully knows what's going on. So we bang one down there. He misses his. Daryl makes his. We get on the last, par 5. We think we got a sniff. I pull a drive, not ideal. We take my drive. I get it to the front edge in the trap, or I get it near the green. Whatever. We have a putt for birdie. Mickelson's front in 2. Tough bunker shot, 40-yard trap shot. And he just stands there and like he's chatting, hits this thing to half an inch. And he just looks at us and he just looks at me and he's like, yeah, you know, it was $100 if I was you, won $400. And I'm just like, God almighty.
But the thing on that hole, the 4-hour birdie was like a 50-foot putt for birdie, but which we hold, by the way. So we hold the putt and then he's then hit it to an inch and for eagle to win on the last. Yeah. But you know what, Trottie? We had him against the ropes there. Like, I actually genuinely think he was nervous, and he quite rightly should be.
We didn't have him against the ropes. He was
we had him against the ropes. We had him.
I figured he was in control because he'd been drinking this coffee. So I ordered this like for wellness stuff the other day, stick it in the coffee. So he even offered that to Big D this morning, like, and he's dished that since he's been here.
Yeah,
I know
boy.
Yeah, so he's not had the coffee, he's not had the bump. And here he is sat here struggling, is the moral of the story. So when Trottie offers you organic, south-facing coffee, you just accept it. You don't turn it down. You go for it. And that's why we learn the podcast.
The irony is here is that coffee is so powerful for Trottie that he still hasn't got around to talking about our Splash Sports beautiful campaign that we introduced 11 minutes ago. So he's buzzing. Someone's against the ropes. It ain't Phil, but I can tell you it's some guy that's had Phil's coffee.
I've obviously been on this podcast, and I have no idea how it went from talk about Splash Sports to we played golf with Phil Mickelson. I don't even know how we made that jump.
Masters Week, innit? We got to give a bit of spice. I think we did a great effort to get a guest. I know we got about get a guest. None of us even bothered. Like, there's two, whatever. We don't need a guest. All right. So details. Select 5. By the way, anyone who remembers it from last year, this was exactly the same. And the drama of this whole thing behind the scenes is that we're trying to figure out how we're going to figure this out, but we're figuring it out. And we're going to have this Splash Sports contest. It's the little whale when you find the logo. There's a little whale in there, Splash Sports. We got Big D in the middle looking like an extra at Harry Potter meets the Terminator. That's because he's got his...
I
know that
Harry
photo.
Potter, hard as nails.
Those of you who see the logo, it's Daryl's bald head with his glasses on. And Harry Potter meets Arnie.
I secretly think he likes that photo because he's been using that for 5 years.
Oh, then me and Bubsy look exactly the same. Bubsy's hiding the turkeys and I'm not even looking. Anyway, select 5 golfers and your top 4 will count towards your score. Each golfer will earn points for your entry by accumulating dollar winners. Players that withdraw from the tournament or earn 0 for a tournament will earn 0 points towards your score. Consider the golfer's injury status for selecting your lineup, as your lineup will lock when the tournament starts. Highest score at the end of the contest wins. Blah, blah, blah. Entry deadline Thursday 5 a.m. Tournament start, basically. It's one tournament, which is the Masters. View content. So you've basically got your $25 to get in, and then there's a 20 grand pot. So here we go. I mean, add entry for 25, and then off you go, and you can pick who you want in your various categories, basically. We haven't got any entries yet because we've only just opened this. We'll hit it tomorrow pretty hard, and then we'll go from there. But yes, Splash Sports, first place, 3 grand, second place, 2,500, third, 2 grand, just off a 25 grand bet. I mean,
so we're sticking a link, yeah?
Yeah, even if you're in the top 50, you get $100 and 12 cents.
And it's a $25 bet, not a 25 grand bet, because then you'll be out of pocket.
Sure.
You keep doing the coffee, yeah? You have the coffee, lad.
So I'm guessing if they're listening to this now, whatever they're listening to it on, description, and there should be a link.
Yeah. I guess I should probably do my entry here, shouldn't I?
You can do it live.
Well, I might as well. I can change it. You've entered. I had $25 in here already, so now I'm down to 0. The reason I've done that is because so you get these different tiers, and I want us all to see the player pool for this slate will be generated in about 6 hours. God damn it. So I've entered, but I can't pick my teams because the slate isn't picked yet.
Okay, so you can do it later.
I've just got a bunch of avatars that look like Harry Potter meets Terminator 2 Daryl without the glasses.
I bet he looks hard as nails. I wouldn't be caught down a dark alley with him. I reckon he'd kill you.
Anyway, I'm having Ludwig still.
You're sticking on that?
Yeah. He was good last week.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, he is looking good, and he's obviously a great player, but he's, over the last few weeks, he's been in contention a few times and not really made a push for it. So would that
he's
be...
not bothered, is he? That's how good he is. He's like, now he's a big-time player.
I'm pretty sure he's bothered when he's in the last group of the PGA Tour event. I'm like, and if your argument is he ain't bothered, that wouldn't be a reason to pick him.
No, he's too big time. He's like, just like whatever. I'm not bothered about winning that.
But do you not look at that and go, a player's playing pretty good, getting near the top of the leaderboard, but not really got it on a Sunday? Is that not a concern?
No, because he's Swedish and he looks cool.
And he's in the originals.
Yeah. I'm totally backing my man here. I mean, you can't play that quickly and not win a Masters.
Right, whilst we're on this, let me give you this. I saw this. This is quite interesting. So we've talked a little bit about this before, but Data Golf do some obviously really good stuff. Many people would consider their world golf rankings more accurate because they do it in a different way and consider live. But there's a really cool graphic on their website, which is basically the winners of Augusta over the years. And it's, I don't know how to describe it. It's one of these kind of crosses, and the horizontal to the left is less accurate. To the right is more accurate, and then up and down is more distance and less distance. And they've done an average here from 2004 to 2020. So basically all the winners of the Masters from 2004 to 2020 averaged out will favour more distance from the tee, but also slightly favour less accuracy. So those are the players that tend to do well. More distance, but less accuracy. So if you're looking at that and you're taking that as kind of gospel, then that's who you're looking for. Now, obviously, when you look at individuals, there are some unique kind of winners in there, but more distance, less accuracy, that's who's going to win.
Which is weird because when I've watched stuff this week, it's all been about like hitting certain sections of the green and stuff like that. All the build-up stuff I've been watching.
Yeah, I mean, there's when you look at more accuracy, there are some winners. I mean, I'm not even sure who these are because it says it by year, but you got like 2015, 2016. Do you know who they were? They were really towards the accuracy side. I'm wondering if that was like Zach Johnson. Was that him kind of in that era?
15. It might be Danny. When was Danny Willett? He's around about there.
14.
Oh, we need to get a list.
I'm doing it now. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, trying to work it out. Hang on, mate.
Right, you want what? 2000 and what?
15 and 16.
15 was Spiethy and 16 was Willett.
Okay, so those were both favouring more accuracy. But other than that, there's not a great sort of pattern here to say that you got to be accurate. And what's also interesting as well, looking at the data, last year,
you know what that is? I reckon that's to do with course setup though, because Willett won on 5 under par. It says.
Oh, you reckon? Yeah, could be. And also the average, I said, was 2004 to 2020. That was very different. They've also got an average here from 2021 to 2025. So the most recent 4 years, it's basically still favouring less accuracy, but less in favour of distance. So basically the last 4 years, the winners have been still kind of not the most accurate, but they haven't been the longest either. Quite interesting.
But are they saying that longest relative to the field? Because obviously the field is long now. Like nearly everyone's hitting at miles.
Yeah, it says the plot below displays our estimates of the value of driving distance and driving accuracy at Augusta National. So that's just for driving, I should say. I should have said that. That would have made a lot more sense. So basically, recently, the drivers haven't been the longest and haven't been the most accurate.
Okay. Interesting. So somebody like a DeChambeau then, who can hit a long way, if he plays a slightly more conservative approach off the tee, he'd still be one of the long hitters. Do you think that favours the rest of his game?
I mean, when I look at this, this page here, if anyone goes onto Data Golf, they've got a little tab for the Masters. It's really interesting because I feel like the more data we've got and the more we've been able to track data and get different metrics, it's becoming a little bit clearer about what you have to do. I remember when I first started watching the Masters, and it was always the course was immaculate, the greens were super fast, they were slopey, and it was always, on the commentary, it's like, look, you've got to be a great putter, the greens are where it's won and lost. And when you look at the recent data, Rory last year on average, lost strokes putting, but he was incredible in approach. And then Scotty Scheffler only gained 2 shots putting, but gained 8 and 4 and 6 from the approaches. And the same is the pattern. So for the last, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, their putting hasn't been where they've won it. They've won it more on approach play and driving. So it kind of shows you that, I say when I grew up, it was all a case of like, you got to put well, the greens are crazy. But the recent data shows that actually, as long as you can put okay, if you drive it great and hit your irons really good, then you've got a chance.
I guess that supports what Trottie just said a minute ago. Actually, if you're hitting those iron shots on specific spots on those greens, then you can afford more of a buffer, as in to be slightly loose on the putting. Whereas if you are not in the right place, you're going to have to putt exceptional just to kind of keep up.
Yeah, and when you look at the, back in the day when Tiger won it, he shot crazy low on the par 5s. Whereas you can do that by knocking it on those par 5s and 2 putting. So you're not, you're not putting lights out. You're on those greens in 2 putting. So your putting stats don't look great, but you're picking up, 8, 9, 10 shots on the course over the 4 rounds. So I just think, I think it's a great tournament. I mean, look, when you get the Open at St Andrews, it's got a special feel. Some of the US Opens at certain venues have a special feel. But I think when you average it out, this is the best tournament of the year, no doubt.
Yeah, I had I played golf last week, actually, with a few guys. And so I played golf with the guys at the Back Nine, who are a big entity over here in the US. And then I played also with the chief exec and COO here of Full Swing. And we were talking about the Masters and the different tournaments, because they've pretty much been to all of them now. And the view is Augusta, as in the Masters, is definitely the best major in their view, except, which I agree with wholeheartedly, and you just highlighted it, except when it's the Open Championship of St Andrews. That's the only thing that trumps it, because the whole town comes alive. It's totally different. It's not just about the golf course, right? Whereas here, Augusta and the secrecy and the little traditions and everything else that forms the basis of this tournament makes it unique, makes it interesting. It is quite siloed to the golf course, but it does make the golf course experience unbelievable, like spectacular. And I know Trottie's been there a few times. I've been there. It's a hell of a place. It's a bit weird, actually, in spells with some of the rules and regulations that they have, but I'm not going to take anything away. I think it was an amazing experience. But it does lead me to a couple of really interesting things about Augusta. Did you know, I'm going to read this out, but the sand, obviously you look, whenever you watch it on TV, the sand always looks beautiful, right? It's like this white sand and you got the green grass that surrounds. It looks amazing. It's not even sand. It's not actually technically sand. So the bunkers, although I played golf last week and they actually did have like a sand material AstroTurf in some of the bunkers that they were repairing. And it looked so real that one of the guys I was playing with, he went into the bunker getting ready to hit a bunker shot. I said, no, you can't hit off that. So totally random. But anyway, so the sand isn't sand. The brilliant white bunkers are filled with granulated quartz, a byproduct of aluminium mining in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. It's so pure, it's also used in semiconductors. So the sand is it's not even sand, the quartz. We shouldn't even call them bunkers or sand traps. We should just call them quartz. But actually that leads to another point, that the broadcasters, when you watch it, they're not allowed to call it a sand trap. It's got to be called a bunker. And that is a requirement by the leadership at Augusta National, that the broadcasters have to call it a bunker.
I wonder if that makes
apparently, I'm going on here now, but they're not even allowed to say front nine, back nine, the broadcasters. They're made to say first nine, second nine. So really interesting how these little traditions have sort of created this, what it is today.
Where do you think that sits in 20 years?
What sits?
Tradition and the Masters.
I think it'll stay. Yeah, it'll stay.
They might loosen off on a few things, but it'll still be there. I saw something from is it Fred Ridley, the chairman?
Yeah,
he said he had a quote talking about the 12th, and it was his quote. So I don't know what led up to, but the question would have been something along the lines of, have you looked at length in the 12th? And he said, I can 100% guarantee you that as long as I'm in charge, that hole will not be changed. But obviously, there's the people in charge will change and new people will come in, but who knows?
I think that hole though never needs to change. There's hardly ever been a hole in one.
No,
it's all the jeopardy that takes place on that hole. Like, it doesn't ever need to change.
No, going back to what you said about the sand or the quartz, that surely must play a little bit different to what they used to. So, I mean, I know you were there, Daryl, working, but when you were there, Trottie, did any of the players ever change wedges based on the sand because it would react differently or spin differently or exit or enter the sand differently?
No, I think I told this story once before about Woosnam, and he would just get new wedges every year. Obviously, when I was going, he was a little older, so you didn't see him so much. But Woozy would just throw new wedges in every year, and that was like it's a really weird tournament because you used to do Houston before, and everyone would be sorted. You're not going to the Masters and doing tons of work. And the guys at TaylorMade know that. You're going to the Masters because it's a treat to go. It's not a bunch of work that you have to do. And like I said, Woozy would just be new wedges. Mike Weir would be maybe a driver that slides a little more, so you'd hot melt the internal weighting in that. But they were two older guys at the time. Weir was maybe just under 50 when I was going. Now, obviously, he's in his 50s. But the point is you're just not really doing a ton.
No.
You might do a 3-wood or a 4-wood. It's the same at all the majors. I think people naive to the jobs on the tour think, oh, well, you do a ton of work pre these tournaments. No, you don't. You do not very much at majors. I think, I've told it on the podcast. I did a crack driver at Bellerive for Brooks Koepka on Wednesday morning. Thomas Aiken, a South African player, he was messing around with irons the day before the Open Championship once. Open Championship, you would do the most, and it would be wedges that are low bounce. Rose would always get like a large flange. You used to go back to those 588 Clevelands and try and get something that would copy that just for the heavy, heavy sand of an Open Championship. But again, maybe a 1-iron, maybe a 2-iron. 2s, obviously, is what they were when I was out doing it, not 1s. But I just remember Open Championships like Carnoustie walking miles, Lytham walking miles, just because it's not a traditional front 9 and back 9, as Daryl calls it, because he thinks he's in with the Augusta Mafia. It's not a traditional. It's not. You just go out, play golf. You're miles away. All the best. So you got to get running if you work on the tour for those events and run 2-irons out and stuff like that. Maybe drivers with less loft, but that's what made the Open a lot of fun from an equipment side.
What's the scoop on Tiger? Is he still technically in the field at the moment?
No, I've just gone through the field. He's not in it.
Oh, he has pulled out.
Well, I mean, his name's not in it, so my take.
I think he's withdrawn.
Not coming in, are you?
Yeah. Which, if I got this right, by the way, this is going to be the first Masters since, is it 1994, where neither Tiger or Phil are playing.
Who's Tiger?
It's a long time. Yeah.
And it's both of them is personal reasons.
Very different personal reasons, though. I think Phil's got something to do with a family. It's a family situation. It's different to Tiger's. It's not quite the same thing.
Let's still unpack that a little bit. You've had a lifetime of being the best athlete in your sport. Phil as well. I don't care what people say. Phil's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you get back to looking at this and it's like, what are the costs of success sometimes, Like, we don't know what the family situation is. I'll give you that. But, the Tiger one is quite well versed. We've got a few issues going on there as a man. And, it's tough. You want to be the best of the best, and sometimes it carries, things that are spin-offs and ramifications of what you do, So it'd be interesting to see. I know Lloyd's put in the chat say that Tiger pulled out and that, so I guess he's not even coming to the Champions Dinner, reading what Lloyd's written in there. I was just going to say it'd be interesting to see if he pops into the Champions Dinner. But I guess maybe that won't even be a thing. It's just a case of, listen, it's publicity at the moment that we maybe need for both parties to stay away from. I don't know, it's a sad situation, but I think that if you look at the greats like Maradona, that comes with a lot of things that spin. Gaza, the football player, a lot of things spin off from being this gifted individual.
Just on, I'm going to ask Dazzler this because I feel like Dazzler's got a bit of an inside knowledge into the Masters. The Masters is unique, isn't it? Because it's invite only. All the other majors, you qualify. Lloyd's put here in the chat, I don't know whether this is something he knows or whether he's just guessing, but he's pulled out, stroke, got told not to come. Would the Masters, if someone like Tiger was, well, because Tiger's obviously done something in the public which isn't great, are they powerful enough to basically make that call and go, look, you're not coming?
Technically, they are powerful enough to do that, yes. However, they are a very unique, you're not really, it's just such a unique environment because they have decision-making or voting control when it comes to things like the world rankings. When it comes to exemption criterias for the different tours, like they're actually deeply entrenched into everything. So although we would say it's an invitation only tournament, you still have to qualify for an invite. You're not guaranteed an invite, but you have to qualify for it. So you know that if you're top 50 in the world rankings, you should expect to get an invite to the post. That's how that will work. But they can revoke an invite at any point should they choose to. And I can't really remember, a recent instance where that's actually happened. But it's always the smallest field out of the four majors. So a typical golf tournament would be 156 players, and the other majors would be that. This one would typically be, and it does vary from year to year depending on some of the criteria, but it's usually around 90 players would be the average field size, which again also makes it a bit more special. And I actually think it also ensures, from a Masters perspective or Augusta National Golf Club perspective, that a winner is likely or more likely to not be a randomer. It's not likely to be an outlier qualifier. It's going to be someone that is highly ranked in the world rankings. It is going to be someone that would be considered a household name in the world of professional golf. 9 times out of 10, I would say. So you look at the Dustin Johnsons, Rory McIlroy, Phil, like all the big names that's won the Masters. But then you can also look at the Open Championship and some of the other tournaments, and you can pick out guys that have maybe not been very successful outside of that one tournament. And that sounds really bad to say not very successful because obviously they achieved success just to get into the tournament and so on and so forth. But to answer your question, they have the total control over who they can invite to the tournament, but they will be very respectful of those qualification processes that enables that invite to be unlocked for those players. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I knew that it was unique because it was invite. I just wasn't sure because I know they like to try and protect their image, don't they? And they're like having a lot of control over their tournament. I'm just not sure whether, Tiger being who he is in the golfing sense, would they sacrifice that to sort of potentially tell him to not come based on what he's done publicly? But I mean, I've got no inside knowledge as to whether that would happen or not.
Yeah, I think what makes Augusta quite unique, or the tournament itself, is that's really the only. I know there are a couple of other events that they run, and there's the ladies' event that they do just prior, etc. But really, for Augusta National, it's just this tournament. It's a winter golf course as well, so it's closed for half the year. So if you remember there, it's very limited as to how many times you can even play. They don't publish the list of members either, so you never really know who's a member. But apparently there's only ever been one US president in history that's ever been a member. So there's a lot to the club that is kind of like shrouded in secrecy. But it also means that they control everything. So even down to their broadcast rights. So when you look at NBC or whoever the different broadcasters are around the world and partnerships that are allowed to broadcast that tournament on TV, Augusta charges the least amount of money for that. So all of the other three majors charge more. So Augusta could charge more, but they don't. They keep it at a certain number, and they do that so that they have more control over other elements, like the broadcasting thing I was mentioning earlier, where you have to call it a bunker and you've got to say first 9, second 9. All of these little nuances that come into play is for control. And arguably, through that control over many, many decades, they've created an environment, or a tradition unlike any other, to coin their phrase, that is unique to that tournament and that tournament only. So even the way that they use their sponsors. So as a broadcaster, I'm going to get this possibly slightly wrong, but they are only allowed to broadcast or advertise 4 minutes worth of tournament sponsors per hour. That's it. Everything else has to go back to the tournament, which is why, I don't know if you've noticed, but have you ever seen you get these really extended pieces of play on the leaderboard? So you see the leaderboard on screen and they kind of go through it. They do it quite regularly, like every hour, but it's quite long. It's not a quick, slow process. It's quite long. All of that is filler time to prevent any clouded movement of other brands and other sponsors doing any form of guerrilla marketing, and to control the broadcasters from what they put on TV. It's all controlled. So when you think about what the tournament does from the invites, everything is about what does it mean for the tournament? How does this play into the integrity and the values of the event? And if they have to withdraw an invite, they will. And then I believe it has been done periodically in the past, not often, because they want to try and make sure that they are seen to be, I wouldn't say easy to work with, but they have to be seen to be compliant to the regulations that they put in play, even if it's a qualification process for somebody to accept an invite, which is totally fair enough. But the rules and regulations are off the scale. Like, for example, if you are a member, you have to wear the green jacket all week. You can't take it off. So it could be baking hot outside. You've got to wear it. You can't take it off. And equally, you've got to leave it on site. The only people that have really taken the jacket home are former champions of the tournament. But the actual members, and the way that the members are seen during tournament week, they're like human information booths. So they wear the jackets so that the patrons, and you have to call them patrons, not fans, they would then see a green jacket and they'd go, I need to know how to get to the 11th hole. So they, in theory, should be able to go up to that member and ask that question. And each member knows their role at the tournament is to help the patrons with any queries and questions they have on site. But not many people know that. But that is their actual role.
Stole off Butlins, didn't they?
There you go. Yeah, Butlins. Yeah, exactly. Another fine tradition right there for holiday makers all over Britain.
I want to know who your picks are, Dazzler, because we haven't really heard from you. But I've got an interesting bit of information which might help the viewers if they're doing the splash sports $25 in. We looked at some data there from Data Golf, and it basically said that putting wasn't really the be-all and end-all. You could be a decent or average putter and still win it, provided you were a decent tee to green. I saw a tweet on X that said 11 of the last 13 winners were at least plus 1.7 strokes gained tee to green in the 3 months leading up to the Masters. And if you look at that now, there are only 11 players on that list. And that really sort of beds in nicely to say, when you look at all the winners, putting isn't necessarily the strength, but tee to green is. The stats show that on the last 13, 11 of those were really strong tee to green leading up to the Masters. So those 11 players are Morikawa, Siwoo Kim, Rahm, Fitzy, Rory, Scheffler, Cam Young, Ludwig, Brooks, Straka, and Gotterup. So if you're basically doing it on stats, now obviously sometimes you do it on gut feeling or a player that you like, but if you're doing it on stats, I would say those 11 are a good shout, because tee to green, they're playing well. Timing-wise, they're playing well at the right time leading up to the Masters, and they're all players that potentially have got the kahunas to win a major.
Okay. Well, I think the picks that I quite like this week, I mean, I feel like for this particular tournament as well, it's really hard to look past Scheffler. But so that aside, he's world number one. Like, it just seems a bit cliche.
Before we get into all this, I just want to cover this membership profiling and being a member of Augusta and blah, blah, blah. I've done a bit of Googling myself there. So apparently there's 300 members, there's 7 women. It's a network that you've talked about. It's privately owned by a bunch of rich business people around the world. There are some international members, some geezer who's got more money than sense in New Zealand, bunch of a Spanish woman involved in Santander. My question to you would be, and this might seem a weird question, say someone bowls up to you now and says to you, hey, look, you've got this empire, you're doing great successfully. And you're in a position now where you can buy anything you want in the world. We want you to be a member of Augusta. Would you say yes or would you say no? Knowing that comes obviously with some serious financial implications. It comes with a stack of rules. It comes with being part of a network. You don't need the network because you've already made so much money that you don't need to be part of it. So you got to join this golf club. You got to put the jacket on. You got to do all the song and dance. You've obviously got to contribute and pay a significant amount of money towards it. It's a golf course. You know, I get it. It's phenomenal, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here, by the way.
The answer's straight yes. I mean, I don't even know why I would be hesitating there. Like, that's a stupid question, actually.
It's not a stupid question, is it? It's like...
It is. It's a dark... Hang on. Someone says to you, we'd like you to be a member of Augusta National. Do you know what, mate? It's not for me. No, it's okay.
That's good. I'm just checking.
What the fuck?
There might...
What a question that is, Trottie. This is too early. You need another coffee, lads.
You could join any golf course in the world. Like, is that the one that you want?
Because of the kudos, I think that in itself. But you're talking about the cost. You're talking about the cost and everything. It's not even certain. Well, one thing, hang on. It's not even certain if there is a cost, because the tournament itself makes so much money that they can live off this money for like the next 2 decades or something. It's like a ridiculous amount of money that happens during the week of this tournament, every year at this tournament. But even despite that, and a lot of the costs that would be associated with the golf club itself, it's a members club. So the cost of that would spread across all of the membership regardless, right? But the other part is, and you've already touched on it, if you join that club, the network of people that you get connected to, it's not a cost, it's an opportunity. So I know people that are members down here in Wentworth, for example, and Wentworth is, I don't even know what it is now, but it's pretty close to 150 grand or whatever it is now to be a member there, which is expensive for the UK. It's pretty norm over there in the US, but for here it's pricey. And they join, and within the first 3 to 6 months, they make all their money back by some sort of shrewd business deal that they've done with another member. So the network and the access and everything else that you get to different people that you might not necessarily know, I just think that has a currency in itself that's valuable to a business person or an entrepreneur. So if you're asking me, would you like to have an invite to become a member of Augusta National? Fuck yeah, I'm in. Where do I sign? Are you asking me? Because I'll sign now for you, big boy.
It's all hypothetical because they don't do jackets that small.
They do, actually, because he's had it on. Woozies.
Yeah. It was Langers, wasn't it?
Langers. It was Langers. Woozies wouldn't fit me. I'm bigger than him.
After you got punched in the eye.
Yeah, after my little spurned eye. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, where were we? Were we before we got asked that
Bubsy hasn't answered
question?
Yet. You'd take the membership, Bubsy?
He's trying to be devil's advocate. Yeah, I can tell. He's trying to think, should I say no?
I do get what Trottie's saying. I mean, it could well be that there's a lot of stuff you have to do as a member, potentially. A lot of, hoops you have to jump through, a lot of things you have to do. You have to say the right thing. You have to be there at certain times. I do get what he's saying, but I think if you're in that position, yeah, I think, put it this way, I think if you turned it down, you'd never be setting foot on that piece of land again, would you? So,
but you'd also regret it. You'd never, if you join the club and then you're like there for 3 years, you're like, this just isn't for me. This is ball ache. I'm out. You've been a member of Augusta National, but if you decide to say no straight out the gate, that's the regret. The regret is saying no. It's not revoking your membership later on. You've got to try these things out. I'm a big believer in that. You just got to try everything out.
Yeah, I like that approach. I just think that if you think about everywhere we've been with the tour, I've been with the tour, golf courses that you go to, facilities that you see, Augusta is freaking awesome. It's awesome.
It's cool. It's different.
You'd have to have business in the United States. You'd have to have a private jet because it's a long drive.
Have you not got one? You not got a jet?
I guess if you're getting asked to join, you've got one. That's my point, though. Think about it. So you're probably not going to live in Georgia. Probably not, because I don't think your business is going to be there. So you're like, okay, so you probably, if you are this person, you probably live in New York. So you're like, okay, I live in New York. I need to probably live in the Hamptons. I need to get to Augusta. I can only play for a month in the summer. I might have kids. I guess my kids might be old and have left home. It's like, do I really want to get on the private now? Do I still own the private? Like, I've been invited. I'm that high end. I've been invited to be a member of like Shinnecock. I live next to Shinnecock.
You could do both if you're that profile of person.
I guess, but you sat there going, well, Shinnecock's my mates because I'm in the Hamptons every week with them. And it's like I don't know about being a member of Shinnecock. I know one of the pros there, and he's a good lad. It would be like that'd be pretty awesome being a member of Shinnecock. And then in the winter, I need a membership that's like down in Carbo.
I guess the question here is not so much about the Masters, because I think you'd have to take it. But when you look at...
You would have to take it.
Yeah, but when you look at what Augusta is, and we all have this idea of what it'd be like as a club to try and join and play, it's super exclusive. I think when you look at that type of golf course, and then you compare it to... I'm going to use a course that people might know of, which is in your neck of the woods, Trottie, somewhere like Goat Hill, which is the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where I've not actually been, but I know you've spoken about it. My feeling is there's no dress code. You can play in flip-flops. You can drink a bit of beer as you play golf. There's families around. The question is kind of like, which would you rather be associated with a member? Would you rather be associated as an uber private club or this kind of chill out? For me, I'd be more down the Goat Hill, like rock up in my flip-flops, shorts, T-shirt, half a set of clubs, throw a ball on the deck. That's where I am right now. Whether that changes later in life or not, I don't know. But that's, for me, right now, where I'd rather play my golf.
I think that's the more accurate question. It's about where you want to spend your golfing time broadly. But if I knew that I was going to take, I was working on a big end business deal, and the other guy's the chief exec of, I don't know, Apple, and Tim Cook, golfer, whatever. And I said to him, listen, let's go for a little knock. I'll get the jet round, pick you up en route, and we'll get you down into Augusta National. We'll play the cheeky little 18. We'll play a little bit of Ocean's 11 while we're out there. Perfect. Like that I think is very different to saying to your buddies, hey mate, what you doing on Saturday? Let's go for a couple of beers and have play a few holes. Yeah, perfect. I think it's just two very different purposes as to why you're a member and why you enjoy the environment. So, but if the question was, I had to choose one, which would you prefer to spend your golfing environment around more often? Yeah, I'm with you, Bubs. I'm going to go down the Goat Hill. I want somewhere relaxed where I can take the kids. No one's judging me. I can dress how I want to dress. If I don't fancy shave my big, beautiful bald head, I don't have to. I just pitch up and off I go.
Golf offers such a variety, though. Like when I lived in Hong Kong, to play golf, you'd leave at 7 a.m. A driver would pick you up. You drive an hour and a half. You'd get across the border into China. You'd have to take your passport. You'd take your visa. You'd get into China. You'd get to the golf club. You'd have breakfast. Then you'd go and play. Then you'd stop halfway round. You'd have lunch. Then you'd play the back nine. Then you'd stop. Then you'd massage. Then you'd have dinner. Then you just like, Jesus, the whole thing is
massage.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to go back to the massage. Well, what kind of massage are we talking here?
It's at a private top-end golf course, Daryl. You'd be getting everything that you would want out of that and then some. But the point is that then you get in the car, you get back home. It's flipping 9 p.m. You're like, well, that was good, I guess. But I've been gone for nearly 12 hours.
That sounds like over a brutal mission.
Exactly. So, but then you put this into like, again, you're a fast-paced guy. You live in New York. And that's the only thing I'm getting at. Now, look, there is obviously a huge element with it all that it must be fantastic. I mean, I've gone in there, had dinner in the a lunch inside the members clubhouse with my old boss here, and he was known from the year before by the guy serving the food. There was conversations about he likes a certain napkin because of the trousers he's wearing. He doesn't want the white napkin because of the lint. He wants the black napkin. The guy knew all that. He liked his ice a certain way. This guy goes once a year for Augusta. The guy knew all that. And I got to have lunch in there. I can't remember the lunch. I can just remember being, on my best behavior in a restaurant at a high-end golf location. And for me, sometimes some of the emotions of it are around the tournament, and there are people that are, just think that they're the big wigs in the golf industry. They're really not. They're just extras. And I don't know. It's just a very, it just epitomizes golf in you've already said it, the polar opposite to what a public golf course is. It is the complete opposite, I think, which is why 45 minutes ago I said, do you think the traditions will still withstand? Because the traditions of the game are changing, good or bad. But obviously in America, not every golf course is about some of it's about making money, and it's changing. Business is very brutal here. It's different. There's a bottom line you got to run, and it's like, will this place run forever with such private in terms of its numbers? I guess you could ask the same thing about Rolex watches, and the truth is that business you think will probably run forever.
But the traditions of Augusta in 20 years will still be there, but they'll be different because, it wasn't that long ago that they never showed the front nine and the coverage. That was one of their rules. They relaxed that. There was no ladies tournament. They relaxed that. There was no ladies members. They relaxed that. So the traditions will change, won't they? They'll just still be there. And I think in 20 years' time, it will still be the golf course that has the most famous traditions, but they might have just shifted a little bit to kind of fall in line with the times.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question then as we move on here. Final point. You could pick 3 golf courses to be a member of. Let's say that Augusta is in those 3. Let's just say that. Do you put it as number 1? You're going to be a member of 3. No problem. You're in. But does Augusta become your number 1 choice? Or, and maybe I'm going to answer this for you, it's so driven by the circumstances of what you want out your golf experience that you're like, oh, well, today we're going to go and have 2 days at Augusta. Come on, let's go, guys. That's how I would do it if I was a member at Augusta. I'd be like, guys, we're going to go 3 times a year. Everyone get your sticks, chuck them in the jet. Let's go down to Augusta. Stay in Butler's cabin or wherever you're allowed to stay. And let's just go. We're going to go for 2 days. It'd be great.
If you remember of 3 courses and Augusta was one of them, I would say doing it that way and going once a year, maybe twice a year, is actually the best way to do it. If you could go and play it more often, you'd almost want to ration how much you play it. So every single time you go, it's got that wow factor, it's got that aura. I don't think you'd ever lose that, but if you started to say, oh, I'm going to play 20 times a year and you've been a member 20 years, it probably gets a little bit, not samey, but you probably don't appreciate it every time. So I think if you did it, you'd do it that way. You'd go once or twice a year, take your pals, get your jet, stay on site, have a great time, done it for the year, and then you're looking forward to it next year. You're doing it almost like the Masters, once a year, you build ups to it. That'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Well, should we do that next year then? Should we put that on our schedules?
Yeah.
I'll get the jet. We'll take Trottie's jet.
I wonder if your guests have to be cleared. Because think about it, you're this uber successful businessman with this huge network, and then you bring your childhood buddy who's a freaking muppet.
Yeah, I reckon you got.
But he's your mate. You adore him, but he's maybe a 20 handicapper. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Because it's not really the sort of place you rock up with a pair of dirty shoes, is it? I would never.
Well, interestingly, did you know this though? In 1983, a man crashed his truck through the gates and took hostages in the pro shop, demanding to speak to President Ronald Reagan, who was playing around on the course at the time. So I think security measures is actually really tight. I think everybody gets vetted well in advance before anything happens. They want to know who's coming on site, and I think they're also, as Trottie will confirm anyway, you're not allowed your phone on site. All of that's gone. And I'm going to enjoy that actually, because you see that when you watch the fans enjoying the golf without their phones, it actually looks good on TV too. But all that kind of technology is down to an absolute minimum on site. And I think part of that is not just tradition. I think part of it is security, for sure.
So talking about taking guests and vetting it, I think this is possibly only available if you're a winner. I'm not 100% sure. But I saw, when you look at Rory McIlroy's career, right, he's had some incredible rounds of golf, won majors, Ryder Cups. But I saw yesterday, Sunday, he was out playing with his dad. Now, that must go down for him as one of the best round of golf. I think you can only do that as a champion, I think. I might be right in saying that. But yeah, that's got to be a pretty special experience for him.
His dad's deep stick too.
Is he?
Yeah, isn't he off he's quite a low single figure, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling pretty much everyone who listens to the Dope Stroke podcast, except for you two, about his dad. Everyone knows about Rory's dad, boys. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah.
His old man was
I'm not a big Rory guy.
He's a top amateur, Dazzler, top amateur in Ireland. When Rory was a kid, he was a baller, and he missed. There's a famous thing when he was a nipper. How he missed going to some award ceremony that his dad had won, and because Rory was making an appearance on TV. And Rory gave his dad the medal in the TV show. and was like, "Dad, I know you've missed the ceremony, so I got the medal, and here it is." And his dad was a very, very good player, and his dad's a member of Seminole, which is obviously where Hogan used to practice a little bit and stuff like that. So again, it's another high-end golf course. Which would that be on your list? I mean, it's a great thing. It'd be very hard to list your top 3. I feel like I could do mine, but but I've not been everywhere either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like you'd have a top 3, but you'd have what feels like 20 alternative golf clubs that could easily cycle in and out of that top 3 based on what you feel that day. But yeah, I think we should definitely cover a bit on that in a future episode. Talk about some of these golf courses we've been to around the world and what we like, what we don't like, and
well, I know we're getting to Augusta. We're getting to McDee's hard out here, but the bottom line is for your top 3, you got to. I'd like you to think about geographically where you're going to live as well, because it's like it'd be all well said and done. Okay, I'll pick Shinnecock, I'll pick Augusta, and I'll pick Hoylake, and people would be like, "Well, that's Liverpool, New York, Georgia. How's that? Where are you living then? What you want to hit balls on a Tuesday night in January? You ain't doing that any of those 3. You've got to factor that in. That's a weak decision.
Well, if I was to join a club...
Then you put Royal Melbourne in. Okay, cool. That's a 24-hour plane ride. You've just picked yourself there, shithouse. What are you doing? Wouldn't work, would it? Because then you could pick, all right, Rancho Santa Fe, Riviera, San Diego Country Club, because they're all within flipping 2 hours of each other. And they're always in good weather. So that's actually a good decision, that.
Well, the thing, where I live, though, I've got the Berkshire with top venue, 2 golf courses. That's less than 10 minutes from my house.
January the 2nd. Enjoy that.
Hang on, I've actually played there. And it's funny you say that. I've played there on January the 2nd, and the greens were running 12 on the stump meter. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was the best I'd ever seen that golf course at that time of year.
I want to be at Rancho Santa Fe. I don't want
okay, good for you. I don't live in it. You said where you live. I don't live in freaking Carlsbad, do I?
But you don't have to.
I'll tell you what, I won't be a member because I won't be a member. That's it.
You don't have to live in
top 3. I don't have a top 3.
Berkshire.
Well, I like the Berkshire. I like Bearwood Lakes as well. But to your point, Bearwood Lakes is a summer course for me. I've never played there in the winter.
So let's just get this straight then. Your global top 3, you've got the Berkshire.
No, you said where you live. Berkshire is up there. The Berkshire is good.
If I was to join top 3,
no, not global top 3. But you said where you live, and I've answered your question very specifically about where I live. And the Berkshire is 10 minutes from my house. Wentworth is 20 minutes. Sunningdale is 18 minutes. I mean, I've got some really, really good iconic golf courses within the UK, within 25 minutes from my house. But if I were going to make my top 3, I know, but I do live here, Chris Trott. I do actually live here. Like, this is where I live. I've got children. I've got a wife. I've got people to please in my local neighborhood. That's where I live right now. Will I live forever? I don't know.
I'd pick that Pebble Beach area, and I'd have Cyprus.
Yeah, that's a beauty. Carmel and all that.
Yeah, that's Monterey, what I would pick. Beautiful. Because I'm not doing it like you. I'm living wherever I want, and I'm picking there.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you move there, me and Bubs, we'll get our houses out there as well, and we'll pop over every now and then a jet. Perfect. Right, I do actually have a hard out here in 3 minutes, boys.
So give us your winner for the Masters then, because
Lloyd needs a name.
All right. He needs a name, doesn't he? See, I think the A name bit is a little tricky. I do like the idea of someone like a John Rahm, etc. But I think if I'm going to settle for one name, I'm probably going to go, and it might feel like a bit of an outlier, but not really. I'm going to go with Fleetwood. He's played well around there before. I feel like he's sensible on his approach. He's won some big tournaments recently. I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm going to go Fleetwood.
Good pick. Mine's easy, but I want to throw in the second one just so I'm right there. Rosie is the second one, and then Ludwig is
but Rosie's more the sentimental pick, isn't it? I want to pick Rosie, but I feel like Fleetwood.
Again, you're an idiot though, because I already picked him, so you can't. You picked Fleetwood.
I didn't pick him. I picked Fleetwood.
And then you threw the second one.
I tell you what, just go and live in Carmel. Go and live in Monterey. Let's get out of here.
The second one, who's got no form whatsoever. Well done. Okay, so I went Rosie, and then you were like, I want that. You can't have it. I just had it. And then
but I like Rosie.
Unlucky.
Right,
Bubs. Forget him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
So I'm going Rosie. No, I'm not. So I'm going a little bit left field here, and I'm doing this when I look at stats. When I look at stats, this guy is kind of showing the form that he needs to show, but he hasn't really shown any results recently. I'm going Brooks. Tee to green, he's been really good in the last 3 months of the PGA Tour. He's just struggled on the greens. I know he's been flipping and swapping out putters. He had a spider in the bag not long ago. He needs to get that sorted out. He hasn't got to put great, because I think tee to green, he's hitting it well. So if he can just get a putter this week that he likes, and he can have a good to average putting week, we know he's got the balls to get it done because he's won 4 majors. He hasn't done it in so many years now. So it's a little bit of a left field one, but I'm going Brooks.
Okay.
You got another one that you want to fancy in there? Tickle your fancy?
I do think, for the same sort of reasons, Bryson.
Okay.
Bryson. I don't think,
just because I want to make sure we've said it. I half fancy Hideki again.
Yeah, he's plays well around there.
Should we just have
wheel them all off?
Between us?
Top 90 guys on the invite list. I think one of them.
Yeah. Imagine if they played a tournament at Daryl's new favourite course, the Berkshire.
The Berkshire's legit, mate. It's both courses top. I think both of them are top 20 or 30 in the UK.
A membership at the Berkshire. They give out yellow jackets.
To be honest with you, I've been chasing them down, but they're crap at responding. So yeah, you're right. I am angling for a member. They should respond now. Yeah, damn right I do. If you want a piece of Dazzler, give me a call.
Right, get on. You've got a hard out. I've got a hard out.
I've got to go. Right, I'm closing up. I'll leave you boys to close up, but I'm out. I'll see you guys next week. Come on, Fleetwood.
See you, McD. We're closing out. See you, everyone. Get in the link below. Splash Sports, Little Whale. Get your bets in. We're just giving you the lineup. All the best.